Hey fellow golfers, I'm going to complement the clip I did on wedges. Look at the link above and at the end of this clip with one of my best parts of my game, which is chipping, and some of the key things I've learned, adapted to, that really helped me in my entire chipping game. Don't forget that as a general rule, if you can putt, then chip, then pitch. So the wedge game comes into particularly the pitching session we did. But of course you can do slightly longer chips with your chipping iron, whichever one you use. Secondly, use and vary what you chip with, partly to affect how high a trajectory you want, partly to affect the rollout. So if you want a higher launch, higher trajectory, shorter rollout, then use your lob wedge, or in my case, this is my 54-degree wedge. If you need to roll it a bit more, a little bit like the bump and runs, but exactly the same stroke, basically a little lower in trajectory, longer rollout, a 9-iron or your 8-iron would probably be good clubs to practice with. Next, remember, bounce is your friend. And secondly, use the loft of the club. So you're not trying to scoop it up. You're letting the club do the work. Let the loft do the work. The bounce helps you get through the ball. Next, very important, is your ball position. Essentially, you want it really approximately in the middle. If you want more rollout, then put it slightly back. If you want less rollout, put it slightly forward. Same club. Going back, you're not trying to scoop, which means don't put your weight primarily on your back foot trying to scoop the ball. Let the club do the work. So in terms of weighting, it should be 60% at least on your front foot, 40% on the back, maybe even as much as 70-30. Have a little bit of shaft lean and grip down the club. I recommend gripping down the club just like a lot of great PGA and LPGA golfers. You see them do it on the full wedges, you see them do it even on the irons. Look at Lydia Ko. Look at Jin Young Ko. They grip down a couple of inches. It keeps them much more in control. So grip down, slide forward, lean, make sure you have good posture. The other thing to be aware of is that you are coming down into the ball. You're coming down into the ball, letting the club do the work, and you're not trying to use much wrist. So the idea is it's much more like this, not this. Doing that will make it very difficult to control the ball and get the right impact. You'll do it sometimes, but with a great deal of unpredictability. Think of the shaft almost, although it isn't exactly like that, coming up your arm and staying there. Right? It's not actually coming up your arm, but you want this to be straight, your back arm. And it's like that pendulum swing that you have with a putter. So let the club do the work, let the loft do the job. It's from this position. I'll then shortly hit some different chips, both with my sand wedge, and I've brought along my 8-iron to show you the difference both from the side and from behind. but I just want you to get the right positions first. So weight more on the front foot, more arms, less wrist. Of course, if you're doing a long chip, you'll use a little more wrist to come through. Another important point, try to keep it below your waist. So what you're doing when you're chipping is you're keeping it below your waist. You're keeping the head of the club. You're not going up like this, like a pitch shot. It's nice and simple, easy. Once you get that, you will be amazed at how good you get. So from the side, weight, front foot, hands down the grip, wall position according to your flight, desire, and roll out. Choice of club, the same. And then nice and easy, let the club do the work. Don't go back and attempt to scoop. Let the club do the work. Come down at it, less wrist. So let's hit a few shots of both types with my sand wedge and with my 8-iron, and hopefully you'll get a better feel for it. I'm going to hit 2 or 3 shots. I want you to just focus on the ball, my hand position, my weight, and the stroke. So a bit more forward, higher trajectory. A bit back, lower trajectory. Now with my 8-iron, same system, same stroke, but obviously this is going to raise less. Weight front foot, arms nice and stable. Your feet should be closer together, really a grip's length, if you think about it. So you're not doing a wider position for a full shot, much more stable. Good way to practice is to do it with both feet together. So a little bit further behind in my stance. Much bigger rollout, a bit forward in my stance. Higher trajectory, less rollout, but still obviously much more than my sand wedge. A bit further back. So with the 8-iron, same principle, further forward and further back. See, you'll see I'm keeping it below my waist. So to recap, weight more on the front foot, 60-40, hands down, hand, wrist still, and I just hit one here, you are letting the club do the work. Yeah, letting the club do the work. Keep that nice and controlled. The trajectory and the rollout depends on the ball position and which club you're using. The technique is exactly the same each time. Once you hone that in, you'll be able to do all sorts of shots in and around the green. If you're short-sighted yourself, use a lob wedge perhaps to get over a piece of rough or to get over a bunker onto the green. If the flag is close by, you want more height, less rollout. In which case you're putting the ball slightly forward, more loft in the club. Exactly the same technique, and let the club do the work. I hope these key tips on chipping help enhance your game significantly as it has with mine. See you on the flip side, my friends. Do subscribe. Lots more exciting stuff to come.